Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. And it's time for another unboxing and rambling, this time of Steamwatchers. And if you're new here, unboxing and rambling is a serious thing. If you're looking for information about Steamwatchers, it's a blah blah area control game with blah area control and Steam vents and stuff. And maybe we'll talk about it a bit more. But first of all, Top Shot Coffee Shot. And by the way, this mug has never been so apropos. You see this over here, Kickstarter, what does it even say? 6 months late? What does it go? In 4 months, in 6 months, in 18 months, and at what price for the shipping? That is an entirely different question. And yes, these are intentionally upside down. It would give me a hernia to see that, so I thought it'd be funny to do it to yourselves. But let's go ahead and get on into this. We got Steamwatchers, we got our expansions, we got the Spark of Hope, the Peace with Wolves, and the Fuel for War. All sound excellent, and then of course we have the base game. This, like I said already, is an unboxing and rambling. Forgot for a second I actually want the coffee. It's always fun trying to time these unboxings to, well, my schedule, because I only have a coffee twice a day, most of the time. Sometimes I go more often than that, but most of the time I have a coffee twice a day, which means if I want to do an unboxing, it has to be timed around that coffee, because I want the coffee as part of the unboxing. It adds to the yeah, it's coffee. I don't really know. It adds coffee. Fun fact: I started getting. There's a seltzer that I enjoy. Bubbly. I think it's pronounced, bubbly. It's Bubble, I believe. And that seltzer, they just came out with a caffeine version of the seltzer. I tried it once with a flavor that I didn't enjoy, but I still want to try it with other flavors. So we'll see. I mean, I like caffeine, I like seltzer. I'm not yet sold on the combination of the two. Poor people thinking they're coming for Steamwatchers information. So, let's talk about Steamwatchers, because I will talk about Steamwatchers a bit. Not necessarily in the way you might think, but I'll talk about it to some degree. Let's get this box top off, put that over there, because that's nice and pretty looking. And what do we got here? Let's go through this. So, stuff. Let's start with the ice logs. What in the world is the ice logs? Ooh, this is the making of, the Steamwatcher world, the Menrau, the something, the Rheinstamm, the catabations. This is just basically a lot of like flavor text and stuff. Flavor text. Maybe I'll read something for Jesse. Let's see. I'll do something for Jesse, for Quacklope. The Steamwatchers world, devised by Mark Lagroy and developed in tandem with his friend Gregory Aubert, originally had a very medieval feel. All technology had disappeared between the ice. This is not flavor text, this is history. We'll move on from there. So, we have the Steamwatchers. Is this the rulebook? Oh boy. Oh boy, they're gonna get flack for this. And by flack, I mean, like, this rulebook, I don't know if you see how well you see this, but this rulebook over here, this is the wrong shape for a rulebook. Someone sat there and said, hey, let's make an interesting different shape for a rulebook, and they went with it. It's not the worst thing that I could possibly imagine, but it's also a different and very different rulebook. We have setup, we have that. So let's go here. From once setup is done, we have game sequence on page 8. This is my usual thing. I like checking how many pages a rulebook is. It looks like it is fairly graphics. It's graphics medium, not graphics heavy, which means it's not the hardest to get through. And then over here we have, what is that? That's rounds, Steam watching rounds. It's still part of the rounds part. Let's go ahead. Page 8, clan descriptions, setup. Is this extra stuff? What is this? I can't really tell exactly where the end of the game stuff is. End of the game, rounds, polluted, special rules. I'm not entirely sure exactly what's going on here. We have end game and victory over here. Oh, scenarios. You must choose a scenario. Scenarios enable more flexibility in, maybe there's a scenarios, or this is Steam Watching 101, the tutorial followed by other scenarios. So it looks like we're talking about pages 8 to 16 on graphics medium. That's only 8 pages. That is not bad. It looks like we have some examples. We have a full page of combat example over here. That is not bad as far as things go. And then King of Average will be very happy that he's having a positive impact on the board game world. I mean, he already was having a positive impact on the board game world. This is just more of it. We have the index. The index from Mythic Games on a game, so because indexes are a thing. Speaking of which, just today I watched Tom Vassell talk about how not forget indexes, but in addition to indexes, he wants to see, we're gonna take this stuff out over here, he wants to see, lots of trays, let's go through this. He wants people to give basically a breakdown of how to set up your game, how to put it away, all that stuff, especially if you backed it on Kickstarter. Okay, these trays are not ending. Why aren't these trays ending? Oh dear lord, these trays are not ending. Oh dear lord. Okay, I'm just gonna stack this up to my chin over here, toss out this piece of cardboard over there, and that's what we got over here. Okay, also not the firmest plastic, so let's go ahead and get into this. That's gonna go down there, and then we're gonna kind of just make this all work. These trays will come down like so. We'll rearrange my coffee. We still got my knife out, and so let's talk about Steamwatchers. Steamwatchers is a game that I did not back. And then I did. because it was a game that, it's one of those, you know how I get a very common request that I get on this channel is a top 10 list of games I wish I had backed. And I haven't done one of those videos because there's generally not 10 that I wish I had backed. Most of the time, if I didn't back the game, there's a reason for it. And then sadly, most of the time, thanks to late pledges, most of the time I want to back a game, I get to the opportunity to do so. And so I've slowly kept a list. Whenever I thought of one, I was like, oh, you know, that one I wish I had backed. Something inevitably happens such that the list has never exceeded 10 games. It's always been like 4 or 5 games because things get added and taken off. Either a pledge manager opens up and suddenly I can get it. Or in the case of, let's say, Nemesis. Nemesis was a game I regretted not backing. But then they had Nemesis Lockdown, and so I kind of got it. Do I still put it on the video? Do I not? If I need to get to 10, I guess I will. So, we have our double layer player boards. We have the Ron. Let's go ahead and show you this, because the art here is beautiful. This, by the way, some of the thickest double layered stuff I've seen before. And every faction does have a degree of asymmetry to it, so you are dealing with actual differences in the factions. This is obviously going to be compared and contrasted with DEI. The gameplay, while different, they both have area control. And they both came out at the same time on Kickstarter, and they both have tiny miniatures. Like, they're bucking the trend of, like, you know, the 32mm or 28mm miniatures, and they're going with tiny, eensy-beensy little miniatures, and both of them have a winter theme as well. So, there's enough comparisons. If they actually have anything similar in terms of gameplay, I'll probably do a play this, not that video on it. We shall see. Let's go ahead and open this degree of plastic here. But these are nice, by the way. These player boards, solid quality over there. So, why didn't I back Steamwatchers? By the way, fun fact, both Steamwatchers and DEI, I late backed. I did not back either of them. On both of them, I had self-control. I maintained my composure, and I said, I don't need these games. And then I don't want to talk about it. But, anyways, well, actually, that's not entirely true. So here's what happened. Actually, I'll tell you what happened. It's actually not that, it's actually interesting enough. So we have the board here. Let's go through the board, then we'll go through the punch boards. So what happened with DEI, we have stickers. Not a fan of stickers. Not sure why they exist. I'll find out soon enough, but stickers. So DEI, what I had the opportunity, before the Pledge Manager closed, I was doing a video on why I didn't back it or whatnot, and I had the opportunity from Ludus Magnus Studios to basically try the game on TTS. And so I did, because I figured, you know what, if I'm doing a video on it at this point, because when I was originally on Kickstarter, I think I had just started doing content creation when I was originally on Kickstarter. Steamwatchers was after, I think. I think Steamwatchers was after. Either way, they're both around the start of my Kickstarter, of my YouTube content creation stuff. This board won't open. And let's go ahead. Whoa, this board is way too big. Let's go ahead and move some stuff around. Okay. And it's not actually too big. It's just right. But it's also too big for the camera. So, I don't know what you can see here. It looks like you can just see. Let's zoom out a bit for a second. We'll go ahead and zoom out. That's going to be the Steamwatchers board over here. That's pretty cool. Now, I'm not actually going to put my mug down, because that would bother me too. Whenever people have seen my mug on camera, whenever people see my mug sitting on game pieces, it's almost always a prototype. For prototypes that are not final games, I'm willing to do it. But for actual games, I like them too much. So, DEI. I had the opportunity to try DEI, and I went ahead and did so, and I really enjoyed DEI. And so I late backed it. And then, sadly, because self-control, I was like, well, if I was wrong about DEI, then maybe I'm wrong about Steamwatchers as well. And this, by the way, this is decent, nice. I mean, I don't really overly go into it. The cardboard's good. It's not too thin, not too thick. I have commented in the past, in Destiny's in particular, I commented on the thick chunkiness of the cardboard, and this is not that level, but it's also not too thin. It's just right. Then we have these player boards. We're going to have, I assume somewhere in here, we'll have some tokens to clip these boards together to make little spinning things. Spinning things is the technical term, otherwise known as dials, I guess. Probably dials. We have our Mythic Games piece over here. This, I'm assuming, is garbage, and this is another thing Tom Vassell talked about. He's like, if there's a piece that doesn't need to be there, if there's a piece that is not part of the game and can be thrown out, print it with a garbage can symbol on it. And I completely agree. I'm 99% sure this is garbage. But maybe it isn't. So we're going to go ahead and put it right back there and reluctantly worry about it later. Okay, what else we got? We got more tokens, more punch boards, more dials, and some pieces that are probably not garbage, but the one with the Mythic Games logo probably is garbage, but maybe not. Maybe Mythic Games is starting to incorporate their logo into their games. I don't know. Maybe. Who's to say? So, what do we got? That's the base box. We haven't even talked about the expansions. We kind of talked about why I didn't back them. No, we talked about why I did back them. We didn't talk about why I didn't back them. We'll get to that in a second. So, how do I do this? We'll put this down over here, like so. We'll put this down over here, and then we'll bring the box up to the table so I can, as I go through things, put them back in the box. and let's go ahead and go through them. So, factions, miniatures, all these things. I'll be putting stuff up to the camera because miniatures. What do we have here? We got nice little tokens. Let me show you these. These are actually interesting. Let me see if I can find a player board, a faction board for this faction. It's probably the beige looking one, right? Do we have a beige looking one? Am I in any way confident here? Well, I gotta look for the motorcycles. Let's look for the motorcycles. There we go. Okay. See, the nice part is I looked for the miniature here. I looked for the matching miniature there. And that's going to be our faction. So, let's go ahead and open these. We're not going to open maybe we'll open every single one. We'll see. I like being here. I like talking. So, we have these over here. These are small and itty bitty. The quality is excellent. I mean, this should be no surprise. Mythic Games is, I don't want to say the first, but one of the first Kickstarter companies that went ahead and made tiny miniatures. They did that with Joan of Arc. And so, let's go ahead and see what we have here. We got more miniatures over here. Probably should keep the plastic bags, but if this is their tray, then do I need the plastic bags? I'm not confident at all. I'm not confident. Does this go on top? Can we put this in here in a way that works? It doesn't seem like it. Nope. Nope-see-dopes. Nope-see-dopes is not a term at all. Let's put this back over here. Let's put this over here, and let's go ahead and open these. So, after I backed DEI, I went ahead and backed Steamwatchers. I looked at the campaign again. I didn't instantly back. I looked at the campaign, I double-checked it, I looked at all the updates, I hemmed, I hawed, and then I went ahead and backed it, which, I mean, no regrets right now with it in front of me, but after I play it, who knows, maybe there will be regrets. Because, you see, every time I see an area control game, it's my genre, it's my jam. I mean, as much as I like these miniature-heavy games, these motorcycles are cool. These are the Ice Flea Raiders. Let's go ahead and show you them. So, we go ahead and show you these over here. That's going to be our little motorcycle. Just a little bit of a little motorcycle with the little skids. You can see the skids. Look at that. Okay, we got a few of these motorcycles over here. Let's see. The Ice Flow Raiders. Darters, they're called Darters. Darters treat all Iceflow areas with one or more free Cariners contract spaces as being under contract with the Free Fleet. If I knew more about how this game would play, that would sound really, really cool. Cariners Associate. No, we got Volador. These are basically soldiers. We have the Cariners Associate doing initial setup. Place your Cariners Associate token in an Iceflow area. It does not take up a contract space. That's good. I was worried it was going to take up a contract space. This token functions like a contract, except that it is never moved or removed and requires no upkeep. I was also worried about the upkeep. This is good. I'm happy they have me covered here. We got these things over here, which look like some sort of machine of some sort. Okay. Now, by the way, for what it's worth, my ignorance is definitely present, but at the same time, I did actually watch like 2 full gameplay videos from Man vs. Meeple and Beasts of War, I want to say. I think it was Beasts of War, before backing it. So it's not like I completely back things without having any idea what's going on. It's just that there's a lot of games, and then I forget, because there's so many games. Now, these guys, it looks like they're all the same sculpt, so I'll just show you one of them. They are tiny, but the quality, the detail is up there, similar to, well, Destiny's. Let's see if we can get over here. Look at that. Look at that. Now, actually, something I wondered about, because I'm not confident, that's not there we go. Okay. Yeah, something I wondered about because I didn't hear it officially said, but I assumed the miniatures from Destiny's were done by Mythic. I assume that because I know they were originally going to be, well, it was originally associated with Mythic and Time of Legends, and they very much look like the same tokens from there. I have no idea. I'm assuming the punch boards will add tokens here. I don't know. You know what? Let me check. Let me check on behalf of Tom whether it says something in the rulebook about how these are actually stored. So, we got over here, nothing, nada, nope, nada, zip, zilch, nothing. Let's go ahead to the end. Maybe it's in the end parts. Nope. Poor Tom. Hoping that maybe somewhere they would have his back, but nothing. Nothing in the rulebook about how to actually store this stuff. Just lots of boxes. Oh well. Okay, that's going to be box number 1. Box number 1 goes back in the box. And we're going to go ahead and put that. That goes like so. Ow. Oh, I got a little cut on my plastic. That's why it hurt. Cool. Didn't cut, fortunately, because my skin is oh so sensitive. Let's go ahead and look at tribe number 2. Let's go ahead and do this like so. Tribe number 2 looks like it has green thingies. Green thingies are cool. We have the Rhinestone. So, yeah, I went ahead and backed this one, like I was saying. Why did I not back them in the first place? So the reason I didn't back them in the first place is because area control, both these games, DEI and Steamwatchers, look at these. These are cool vehicles, I'm telling you. And all the units are unique. All the units are unique too. But look at this tank. That's a cool tank. I mean, like, the quality is excellent. The size is tiny, but I don't mind tiny size. It's a question of how good the game is. But I know jokes ensue. I know. Okay, let's not focus now. Let's move on. So, These look like they're the exact same. These buildings are the same type of building, so no change there, just a different color. I will not bother showing you them when they're a different color, but we'll go ahead and show you some more miniatures from these. And why did I not back these games? Because as tempted as I am by area control, as tempted as I am by the genre, oh, look at these adorable people. Look at these adorable snow people. As tempted as I am by the genre, they're also competing against some real heavy hitters. Some real heavy hitters. We have some of my favorite games are area control games. We have Blood Rage, we have Cyclades, we have Kemet, we have Inish, we have Chaos in the Old World, we have... Well, we have some more joining. We have Fall of the Mountain King now joining the group. But Fall of the Mountain King is borders, though. It's a little more pure area control. It's a little more akin to El Grande. But speaking of which, we have El Grande. But it does have some combat. We'll see. Let's talk about Kriker. This Ioton, it's massive. When an Ioton attacks, its strength is boosted by 1. You see, I don't even have to know anything about the game for that to sound like a reasonable thing. So, that is faction number 2. Done. I'm making progress here. Only got way too many boxes left to go. So, let's look at this one. This one looks like it's giving us... Whoa, what in the world is this giving one? This is giving us some weird stuff. We don't have a machine. We have, like, flyers. We have the Katabatians? I don't know. By the way, who else thinks... I never actually followed this enough to know, but who else thinks that the guy in the Steamwatchers video, they had a video for Steamwatchers, and so Mythic is interesting. Mythic puts out videos for their Kickstarter campaigns, and some of them are absolute, that's not true. All of them are absolutely incredible, but some of them are completely useless. Okay, let me explain. So, they are all very, very well done. They have a great animation, great stuff going on in the videos, very intriguing, but then in the case of Hell and in the case of Steamwatchers, the videos told me nothing about how the game played. They're just a cool video, which is great, but spending a lot of money on a cool video doesn't do it for me. It might do it for you, which is great. You're the one spending the money on it. Well, you being Mythic in this case. It might do it for you, in which case actually good for Mythic, because that's great. But I don't care about a cool video. I care about videos that show me some idea of how the game plays. I want to know how the game plays. That's why I'm here, right? I'm going to back your game, even if I forget, 7 months later. But at some point, I actually care. Okay, these miniatures are not as cool. They look a little... It's interesting. The sculpts in these are interesting. It almost looks like they didn't get the head proportions exactly right. Now, I vaguely recall that was an issue on Joan of Arc as well. So it looks like the head is a drop too large for the body. You won't notice it while playing. But then we have these Erinyes, something like that. These little, kind of like these fairy flyers are their tanks instead. So, little different. A little larger, either way. And their ability. Wings of Death. An Erin-only army on a forced march may pass through an area occupied by enemy units without triggering combat. Again, don't need to know much about the game. That's flexibility. That gives you some tactical choices that other players do not have. I like that. Go ahead. And then with Snow Coaster, the Catabastians treat mountain areas as plain areas. That's good. I was worried about those mountain areas, but that's good. They can kind of hover over them or fly around the board or something that makes it sound I know like I'm talking about. We got Purple. Purple's next. So, in the case of Hell, their trailer didn't tell me how the game plays. The Roan Conglomerate. In the case of Steamwatchers, their trailer did not tell me how the game plays. In the case of Reichbusters, and in the case of, what's the game behind me? Super Fantasy Brawl, behind my head. In the case of Super Fantasy Brawl, their trailer did give me a better idea of how the game plays. I didn't love the animation of the trailer quite as much, didn't hype me up as much. It was good. It was very good. But it wasn't on the level as 2 other trailers. It was not on the level of their Reichbusters trailer and their Rainbow Six trailer. Mythic Games, Reichbuster and Rainbow Six are arguably the 2 best board game trailers I have ever seen. They are simultaneously informative, entertaining, you can't stop watching them, and they give you a good idea of the gameplay. That's going to be the informative part of what I just said. And so, Six Siege is the one that just dropped, well, today for me, which gives you an idea of when this video was filmed. Six Siege dropped today for me, and it looks cool. Now, I've played it, so I know it's cool, but it looks cool. And Reichbusters, never have I been so hyped for a game from the trailer alone. So we have the Skybreaker. The Skybreaker over here. Let's go ahead and show you that. Okay, that's cool. It's a little anti-aircraft gun. Hence the name Skybreaker, he realizes while he's talking. Suppressing fire. Skybreakers may provide support at a range of up to 2 areas through mountains or plains. See, that's helpful. Then we got these guys with their... Is that not a mustache? It's a face mask. Oh, this is Leo. Oh, this is Leo. Okay. Which brings me to my point. When I said this is Leo, what do I mean by that? So, in the trailer, focus. In the trailer... I'm talking to the camera, not me. I'm very focused. In the trailer for Steamwatchers, there was a character on the top of a mountain shooting a gauze grenade who looks a bit like this guy over here. But in the trailer, kind of looked like Leo from Mythic Games. I don't know if that's my imagination. I don't know if 14,000 other people have commented on it. I don't really know, hence the reason I'm having this conversation with you. But I was like, that looks like Leo. Not that I have a problem with it. I mean, if you ever watched, what's his name? James Hudson threw himself into Bloodborne. He claims it wasn't intentional. He claims, and his claim is interesting. He points to a Viking. He said that the Viking said he wanted the guy to look like the guy from the show Vikings, and there actually is overlap there. So it's a reasonable and believable story, but it's James Hudson. So, you know, who knows? Anyways, that is all of that. Let's continue going through this. So why did I not back these games? Back to my situation. Because that's interesting. I've noticed that the factions have a variable number of these. Don't know more what's going on, but they have a variable number of these. That's already intriguing. Okay, more asymmetry. The more asymmetry, the better. 1 or 2 abilities is cool, but not as cool. Ooh, wow, we got toxic strains over here. This faction bag has an extra set of tokens. Okay, toxic strains, which are going to be these over here. Looks like little molds or something. I don't know. Well, it's a toxic strain. That's what it is. The toxic strains are going to be doing phase 4, doing the steam subsides phase. We all know about that. Any other clan that controls areas containing a toxic farm increase their incubation level by 1. Wow. I was worried about my incubation levels. Okay, so we have the sowers. These people look like they are they're from Scythe almost. Like they're very interesting machine-like automatons. I don't know what they are. They're like, it's interesting to describe them. They look like almost like robots, but with personality and interest. Neurotoxins. When you attack with 1 or more sowers before allocating algal fuel, your opponent converts 1 pure algal fuel to contraband algal fuel and increases their incubation level by 1. There's a lot of terms going on here. I'm gonna have to figure out this game quickly because I want to get to the table quickly, by the way. So, although it's gonna have to wait because we're still coming back to that. We're still circling around the main point here. Just like a little drain. The water's slowly closing in. I love these unique sculpts. They are fun. So, what am I talking about? I listed a bunch of area control games. I also listed Fall of the Mountain King. And I did not talk about, but if you've been paying attention, I did talk about Fall of the Mountain King. Okay? Fall of the Mountain King. Where did I talk about it? Not Fall of the Mountain King. Lords of Hellas. Where did I talk about Lords of Hellas? Oh, do my Chronicles of Drunagar unboxing. That's right. So, I talked about Lords of Hellas. Lords of Hellas is a game. Is there another thing underneath this? That's interesting. Little cardboard piece. Okay, either way. And we got 2 more factions here. 2 more factions before we move on to other stuff and components. So, Lords of Hellas is a game that during my unboxing of Chronicles of Drunagar, I talked about that one. And I think it's more apropos and more relevant here. Had I known this was showing up, I would have saved it for this video. But I played Lords of Hellas for the first time recently, and really, really enjoyed it. And need to get it played more. In fact, before I play Steamwatchers, I want to get another play or 2 of Lords of Hellas in, both so I can review it and also to lock in the game. A big thing I've talked about it here and there, I don't talk about it enough. A big thing I'm a fan of is locking in plays. When you play a game for the first time, you want to get in 2 or 3 or preferably even 4 plays if you can manage it of that game before you move on to the next one. Not before, but, you know, in a reasonable time frame before you forget about it. Because it locks in those memories, those rules. Playing it once, and then playing it again 6 months later, that's going to require a full refresh of the rules. Playing it 3 times, and then playing it 6 months later, you'll need a quick skim at most. Ooh, look at these characters. They look pretty cool. Where's my paper? Here we go. They're these people with those helmets. I like them. Okay, we have the High Glimmer Apostles, and his name is the Cantor. Okay, so he's basically a singer. Doesn't look like a singer. He looks like an Emperor's Guard. Is my guy taking your head off? If I can get the focus, there we go. See, the problem with these small miniatures, they don't focus quite the way I'd want to. And then we have these idols. So we have cantors and idols. This is a very religious sect over here. So why are they calling them idols? You'd think they'd, call it a temple maybe, or go with the Jewish route, call it a synagogue. You can work with things. But either way, these are the idols. I guess because they're worshiping them, they're idols. But you only call, maybe I'm wrong here. Don't you only call things idols? No, I don't know. Either way, convert. Religious. When you attack with 1 or more idols and win the combat, place a base soldier from your clan supply in the combat area or an adjacent area under your control. So you didn't kill one of them, you kind of converted one of them. I can work with that. Anyways, back to Lords of Hellas. So, speaking about these games and my issues around them. Area control, while it is one of my favorite genres and most of my, I would say the biggest portion of games in my top 20 that share a common theme will be area control. That said, it also means that every other game is fighting against those games. There are many, many games that I love, and this might be a bit of a spoiler to an upcoming review. Ruination, really enjoy it, not sticking around. Dwellings of Eldervale, really enjoyed it, not sticking around. And to be fair, lots of people I've seen both incredibly positive reviews of Ruination and of Dwellings of Eldervale, both from the Dice Tower, from other channels, and everything else. So it's Sometimes it's just personal preference. But nonetheless, personal preference or not, those games are not sticking around for me because area control is a hotly contested genre. So as much as I am tempted by every area control game I see that looks interesting, I also just don't believe that they will continuously be that good. They have to stop being good at a certain point, right? And again, I just listed some that weren't for me. Cry Havoc, great game, not sticking around. Nexus Ops, great game, not sticking around. I can list dozens of area control games that weren't for me. Scythe, amazing game, not sticking around. We got these people over here, the Western Alliance over here. So the Western Alliance over there, look at that little guy over there. Okay. And we have the Jeep. Urban Guerrilla. When you attack with one or more Jeeps, gain 1 extra strength for each building present in your attacked area. And that is going to be the last of the basic factions over here before we go ahead and move on to whatever is in these two things, which look like, well, stuff. We got cards. Let's go ahead and open some cards. And yes, area control. Area control is interesting, it's tempting, but it also doesn't hold up for every time. And so I saw these games. I saw DEI, I saw Steamwatchers, and I was like, I will have self-control. I don't need more area control games that are less likely to live up to the hype. And so I passed on them until I played DEI, and I was like, oh, that really enjoyed that game. And so that caused me to reevaluate Steamwatchers, which I don't know if I'll enjoy. I'll let you know as we go. Also, speaking of which, we also have, what's the new one I just got? What's the new one I just got from Go On Board? Titans. Another one. Titans I got because Sam Healy talked a lot about Titans. Now, at the time we talked about Steamwatchers, I don't believe Sam Healy was with Mythic at the time Steamwatchers was done. That said, one of the reasons I got Steamwatchers was both the gameplays, the theme, lots of cool cards here, and then reading some forum posts of people who claim they were friends with Sam Healy, who said he really likes the game and talked very positively about it. And so I was like, well, I don't know if that's true or not, but I'll go ahead and give it a shot. So we got these weird bubbles. Maybe they're steam, maybe it's water. Who knows? They're cool. I like the texture of them. Little bubbles, whatever. We're going to have some more of them over here, slightly different. We'll get to that in a second. We have these over here, which look like, well, are they all the same? Are they different? They look like they're all the same. Look like some buildings. Just some plastic buildings. The plastic material in these doesn't feel as nice. It feels more mass market than Kickstarter. Just different plastic types or materials. That's going to be this box over here. I'm going to go ahead and toss this on, whichever way it came on. And then we're going to go ahead and dump this into our main box, which is just full of 9 different trays. Okay, we got this here. Here are our dials to connect those, well, dials. Here's some red little plasticky things. Intriguing. We got some more of those bubbles. These are slightly different. It looks like these are just different materials. Very intriguing. Okay, and then and then some green thingies. So we got some red and green dials, and then the thing I want to focus on, which is whatever these are, because these look nice and hefty. So what are these? So we got these, which are looks like mountain, like aircraft guns, some sort of gun defense system. So you see these over here, just a whole bag full of these. They look fun. I want to control them. I want to control all of them so I can shoot your guys more than you shoot my guys. Okay, so yeah, Lords of Hellas, solid game. Fall of Mountain King, solid game. I have to go, I'm now intrigued. Now I want to go through all my area control games because it kind of seems like I like, Cthulhu Wars is interesting. I don't think that one's sticking around. I also have Glorantha God's War. I need to play that and see if it's better or worse than Cthulhu Wars. If it's better, then it might stick around. If it's worse, it's obviously not sticking around. If I'm on the fence about Cthulhu Wars, then I'm certainly on the fence about a game that would be worse than Cthulhu Wars. Or I should say I would not be on the fence. Okay, let's go ahead and put some of this stuff back in the box, and then we'll get to the expansions. That's going to go over here. This is going to go over here, like so. That doesn't seem like it fits anymore. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? We'll figure it out later. This is not my problem right now. Okay. And then we got the box top going back on, like so. We'll figure out the details of how to get that all to stick soon enough. Oh, so this box is white, by the way. Fun fact, a white box or a white shirt, as I once realized, can, and we got this, forgot about that, can sometimes mess with the camera and throw the whatever terms that are camera-related terms off. So I once wore a white shirt in a video, and the whole film was way too dark, and I didn't realize until after it was done. Apparently, you can't wear white shirts in videos. Watch, I'll do it again. Watch, ready? White box. Watch how dark the camera gets. Okay? As soon as I put this like this, it kind of darkens. No, yeah, you see, I'm a little darker now because it's focusing on the white box, and if I move it, I should lighten up in a second. You see? See, it's interesting, right? Weird stuff. Just automatic aperture. I think aperture is the word I'm looking for. Anyways, we got that. We got this. And these are all provided different gameplay stuff, including like a train. Like there's an interesting little cargo train in one of these, I remember. See, I remember something. Gameplay-wise, I'll have to look into it and read the rules and get it all prepped to the table. This and Titans all need to hit the table. The too many area control games. Worst case scenario. Oh, Rurik. I forgot about Rurik. Rurik's also up there. I'm going to have to go through a list of all my area control. I'm curious if there's more. Now, for what it's worth, to be fair, with the exception of Kickstarters that look tempting and catch my attention, most of the time the area control games I'm getting are well vetted. They are games that looked interesting for a reason, and the general audience have said, hey, that game's good. That's like, until I started doing content creation, I only really, well, and Kickstarter, I would only really get games that the general audience had vetted as being good. Now it's a bit more risk associated. It means I'm playing more mediocre games. Not only mediocre games, but I'm definitely playing more mediocre games. Mediocre being a good game that isn't great. It's just the nature of taking on projects that less people have had the chance to play. Ooh, we got a bunch of miniatures. Let's just go through all of these. These are like some sort of leader miniatures. They should be fun. Just one, and they got the green dude. These are like a little larger. You know, your typical 32mm miniature, although almost like, it's like half bust, half miniature. Very intriguing in the way it's done. They ever played Dogs of War? It has that kind of feel to it. You see how they're kind of on a weird pedestal? I like the general sculpts. I'm not sure how I feel. I guess it makes sense because if they're not playing at some sort of monster, then having them as a regular unit on the battlefield next to your tiny miniatures would throw off the look and feel, right? By throwing it on a bust, you're effectively saying, hey, this is, you know, not a miniature, not a size-wise represented unit, and you abstract it a bit more, which could make sense. Either way, solid sculpts as usual. Mythic in general does some top-notch work. In fact, Mythic, Six Siege has some of the best miniatures I have ever seen in a game, and from a theme that doesn't even interest me, which is particularly impressive. So, this is a very big box for what we just saw here. I guess it looks prettier on the shelf if you have them all the same size, I guess. Still feels like a bit like a waste. Now the real question, and I'll have to like talk some about Mythic Games here, is the first play, do I go base game alone, or do I go with more stuff? What's going to be my best experience? Because that first experience, by the way, is incredibly key. If I don't have a good first experience, I am not going back for the expansions. Now, if I have a decent first experience, but not great, then you start messing around, you start adding things. Like going back to like Dwellings of Eldervale, for instance. Dwellings of Eldervale is one where I played it, and my first game was good, my second game was better, and then my third game and fourth game were back to being just good again. So like I had one really good game and then a bunch of mediocre games. Not mediocre, they're good. But again, in the genre of area control, good is not good enough. Ooh, these are cool. Do these even hook together? They hook together. Oh my gosh. Okay. They kind of hook together. I don't know if they hook together. They may or may not hook together. I don't know anymore. Now I can't tell. Okay, looks like it's supposed to hook, like so. Okay, great. That one hooked nicely. I mean, like, you can see how it pulls a bit, but does it pull properly? See, it doesn't feel like they're going in properly. I don't want to sit here and push them too much on camera. They kind of go, but you see that happens. Let's see if we can push just a drop harder to get this in there. Ooh, that went in nicely. Okay, you just have to give it a little bit of force, not a lot. And the particular connection pieces are chunky enough that I'm not particularly worried about it. Okay, you see you can hold them like so. But yeah, I'm not going to mess around with it too much. You can mess with it, but overall, the actual sculpts themselves, very cool. Again, this goes back to the supply train aspect of things. Like I talked, look at that little radar on the tower. Look at that. It's very cool. Very cool. Very exciting stuff. And again, are they all unique? Let's see. Are they all unique? Nope, they are not all unique. In fact, they are all the same, so I'm not going to bother showing you each and every single one because they're all the same. Honestly, so that's interesting. That is interesting. I would say, now first of all, they have plenty of unique sculpts here. I would say for the amount of uniqueness that Mythic chose to bring to the table here, I think I would have gone the extra 9 yards. I think I would have made these sculpts unique as well. Now, that's an extra sculpting cost. It's an extra cost involved in each of those. I'm not taking that lightly. But with a game that has everything... Well, not true. The buildings aren't unique either. Fine. They get a pass. My thing is just like, once you're going, 8 yards, go the whole 9. But they didn't go the 8 yards. They went 7 yards. So at that point, jumping to 9 is a different story. That analogy should make sense to someone out there. Okay, and this one has cards. It looked like none of these boxes needed to be the size. None of these boxes. I mean, are you kidding me? None of these boxes needed to be the size they are. Like the largest of these, which is this one over here, the largest could still have been half the size and been totally fine. We're dealing with shipping shortages right now. Shipping, freight delays, all that. I had a video go up. at some point. I don't know when at some point is for you, but I had a video go up already on this. Uh-oh. I think this is from this box. We had a video go up already on the concept of the shipping shortages, and there we go. Perfect. Excellent. And that means that having larger boxes, they're going to try to compress things more and more, because that, however much it mattered before, it matters 5 times as much now with all these shipping costs and expenditures and all that. Lastly, we have our playmat box. And let's go ahead and open this. Let's try not to cut the playmat. That's always a good sign, right? Okay. I have cut things before. It's rare that I have violated game materials before, but it has happened. And we got our game mat, and we have our box. And this... Ooh, okay, it's a triangle box of the game mat. It could be worse. Ooh, let's go ahead and put these on the floor. Let's go ahead and put the knife off to the edge. That can also go on the floor. All good. I just want to have space for this on the table. This is a beautiful, beautiful mat, by the way. I don't like game... Well, that's not true. I like game mats. I just don't like storing them. But this is something that I absolutely want on my table. Let's zoom it out for you again. Just a little bit of a zoom out. One last time on this board over here. Oh, look at this. This is very pretty. My wife would probably kill me if she touched this. She does not like the texture of these things. I'm okay with it. Cool. This has been your unboxing of Steamwatchers. Steamwatchers, another area control game in a long line of area control games that I historically tend to like more of them than I dislike. That, I think, I'd have to do some actual numbers. I probably will at some point. I'm very excited about this one. Like I said, I did watch gameplay videos. I did look into the whole, does Sam Healy like it or not? Sam Healy's opinion matters to me a lot, especially in the genre of area control, because his #1 game of all time is Blood Rage. And for a very, very, very long time, Blood Rage was my #1 game of all time as well. And I'm excited. I'm excited to get this one to the table. I'm excited to play this. I'm excited to play more Lords of Hellas. I'm excited to play DEI. I'm excited for basically all the games that I'm playing. And that's basically it. I will see you soon in this 6 Siege video. The 6 Siege Kickstarter, which is on June 22nd. I assume this unboxing is going up before then. We shall see. But either way, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. And I hope you have a good one. I have no idea where this is going. Okay, we have to... Let's do this. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this. Like so. Yeah. It works. It's all good. Okay. Now let's look a little bit. My problem with playmats is the storage aspect. Like, I like the playmat a lot. This is a beautiful playmat. Now I have to like kind of just shake it down a bit to make it even. And now I have to go figure out where this is going, because playmat. It's pretty. No regrets. I'll see ya.